Hey, Christine, how are you?
Hey Lorna, how are you?
Doing pretty well. Happy Magic Monday on Wednesday.
That's right.
We wanted to wait until 80-degree weather in New York in February.
Absolutely.
What a day.
What a day.
So nice out. But we have a topic today, don't we?
We have a juicy one today. Yeah. So let's talk about feelings and emotions.
Yes. As our guideposts, right? Our emotions are our guideposts. And how can we pay attention to that and let them work for us instead of against us?
Right. How can they guide us in the direction that we really do want to go?
Right, right. So you want to start with the emotions that we call good. I mean, people call them good. You and I don't, right? No emotion is good or bad. It just is. But people kind of know positive emotions as joy and happiness and bliss and excitement, right? Those are the good ones. Those are the
Yeah.
ones we enjoy more. Let's put it that way.
That lift us up and we sort of try to bask in them and we have very little complaining in those places, right?
Exactly. And those we really want to cherish, right? I mean, we want to enjoy them. We want to say, hi, come here more often.
We
We
want to
this.
follow all of those too, right? Yeah.
Say that again.
You want to turn up the volume and all the positive emotions as well. You really want to stand there and use even just the tool of self-awareness to really say, wow, this feels amazing,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on that because we know, yeah, but it's important. It's important to acknowledge I feel good and I like feeling good and I'd like more of this, please.
Absolutely, right?
Right.
We get to rewire the brain that way because when we can actually stand in the good and really turn up the good, it helps us during those not so good times, it turns out.
Yes.
So it is important. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So flip side,
Yeah.
the emotions that we don't care for so much, right? What are those? Anger, frustration, grief, sadness,
Jealousy,
jealousy. Yes.
guilt, regret.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how can we reframe those? And instead of thinking, oh my gosh, life is just happening to me, right? Why does this always happen to me? Everything's against me. What's going on here? Why does this, how can we look at it differently?
Well, I really think it's, if we just back up a second, we spend a lot of time not dealing with our emotions, right? I mean, we eat our emotions, right? We numb out food and that extra glass of wine and, the texting and the games on the computer, and all of that, right? We spend a lot of time staying busy, in fact,
Yes. Yes.
engaged in activities that keep us, because really what we're talking about, these not so great emotions, is we fear them. They're kind of scary,
Right.
right?
We want to run away from them. In a lot of ways, we think they're going to hurt us or even kill us, right?
Or
That we don't,
exactly.
yeah, we're not going to survive. Yes. So instead of numbing, right, what's the alternative? What is it that we want to do when these things come up for us?
Well, we have to acknowledge that ignoring them and numbing out actually makes things worse. They sit and they fester, they come out in really unproductive ways. And as far as Lauren and I are concerned, really why we're talking about this is because it keeps us from being real. It keeps us actually, ironically, from the truth of who we really are, who we really want to be in the world, right? So that's why we got to figure out that, okay, there's got to be a better way, a more productive way, right? That over time we can still be on this with the quest to be authentic, right? Because that's what this is about. This is
Yeah.
the transformation to be our real selves.
Right. And the way that I like to talk about this with people is, say one of these emotions comes up. If any kind of emotion that doesn't feel good is coming up for you, it's telling you one of really three things. It's telling you that you have a need that is not getting met, or it is an activity or way of being in the world that you either do not allow yourself to behave in that way, or you actually behave in that way and you don't want to admit it to yourself. So, for example, a lot of my clients will say things like, my child is so lazy and it makes me insane. It makes me so angry to see them sitting on the couch and wasting all that time or sleeping until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And the way that I like to reframe that for them is to ask them when they allow themselves to be lazy. Because it's coming up in them because it's something that they maybe are not allowing for themselves.
Exactly. So a signpost along those lines is it's really identifying something that is we're not addressing, right? We're kind of out of touch and out of sync with something that is true to our core as to who we really are. So for example, that way, do you give yourself permission to be lazy? Another great one is jealousy. So, a lot of women, they walk around and they say, oh, well, if I had time to get my nails done, if I had time to work out, for 3 hours a day, I'd look like that, or I'd have time to go shopping and all of that, right? So jealousy. So it's not so much that we're actually wanting to become that person or engage in that activity per se. It's because there's something within us that keeps us stuck, right? We're holding ourselves back. We're not allowing ourselves to have what we truly want, right? And so again, we're not being real with who we really are.
Right. And you're right. And that's how we end up with these unmet needs, right? Because we don't allow ourselves to say, I want some of that for myself. I'd like to be lazy sometimes. I'd like to go take care of myself instead of taking care of all of these have-tos in my life constantly, right? But if we don't allow ourselves to do that, that's when the resentment comes up. That's when we feel jealous. That's when we feel angry. And that's a really
It's a good signpost, right? Because it basically shows us big time, what we really want and what we don't have in our life right now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So as we close this today, we would love to ask you guys what signposts you're getting in your daily life. What are the signposts that keep coming up for you? And if you think about it in this way, what is something that you could change? What is something that you could give to yourself or do differently that would use this emotion as something to be positive, to end up to be a positive change for you?
Absolutely. So step one, recognize the emotion as a signpost. It's there to teach you something. It's there to shine a light on something, right? Something's out of sync. Something's being asked to pay attention to. And then once you identify that, what small changes can you start to make that, to start to pay attention to what the emotion wants to be seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So enjoy that. We would love to hear any comments, any feedback that you have from this, any aha that you just had from watching. And yeah, we'll see you in the comments.
See you soon.
All right. Enjoy this beautiful day.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.